The film opens on a remote island where a group of laborers is busy excavating for a private company's project to transform the area into an ecological theme park. Progress halts when they uncover enormous fossils and skeletal remains, hinting at the island's mysterious history. Frustrated by the delays, the workers decide to speed things up by detonating explosives near the foundations. The explosion generates a cloud of dust and wind, but as it clears, another colossal fossil is revealed. Curious, the team approaches the discovery only to witness it move and disappear into the ground. They are horrified to realize that the fossil isn't just a relic, it's alive. Before they can process this, the ground shakes violently and a massive python emerges, sending them into a frenzy. But their attempts to flee are futile as the serpent wreaks havoc. The chaos intensifies when another tremor shakes the ground and a gigantic dinosaur emerges. The two colossal creatures engage in a ferocious battle, tearing the island apart with their immense power. Elsewhere, a young boy named Kai awakens from a terrifying nightmare. He spots a shadowy figure in his room and bolts in fear, only to trip and fall. The lights switch on, revealing his mother, Xiao, who had been playfully scaring him. This moment also introduces Kai's physical challenges due to a leg injury, and we see Xiao encouraging him to strengthen his mobility through training. Despite his limitations, Kai dreams of visiting the island's ecological theme park. One day, Xiao surprises him with tickets, fulfilling his wish. The scene shifts to the island where Kai, Xiao, and other tourists embark on a bus tour through the dense forest. As the group ventures deeper, Kai is stunned to spot a giant python slithering up a mountain. Though he tries to warn his mother, she dismisses it as his imagination. The tour takes a dangerous turn when the bus driver, Zhang, spots massive boulders tumbling toward them. He swerves to avoid them but crashes into a tree, causing panic among the passengers. With the bus stuck in the mud, everyone works together to push it out. Meanwhile, Kai steps away with another passenger to find a private spot, only for the other man to be snatched by a monstrous tongue and dragged into the woods. Back near the bus, Professor Jie and his assistant Lei examine the boulders and suspect they were thrown by a massive creature. Their fears are confirmed when passengers are suddenly attacked and pulled into the forest. The remaining group rushes back to the bus, and Xiao manages to shut the door, but then realizes Kai is missing. The monster, a gigantic frog, reveals itself and lunges at the bus. As it prepares to attack, the frog notices Kai alone in the woods and pivots its attention toward him. Kai sprints for his life, narrowly dodging its strikes, and eventually hides inside a hollow tree trunk. Unable to fit inside, the frog pushes the trunk down a hill in frustration. Back on the bus, another tremor signals the arrival of the giant python. The serpent coils around the vehicle, lifting it high into the air. Inside, the passengers cling to their seats in terror, certain they are moments away from death. However, the python hears a distant roar and abruptly releases the bus, sending it plummeting to the ground. The crash leaves everyone unconscious as the chaos continues. A while later, Xiao regains consciousness to discover that only a few passengers have survived the devastating fall. Before they can fully process their situation, the ground begins to tremble again. Hearing the thundering sound of approaching footsteps, the group hides behind the bus, holding their breath as the noise grows louder. A towering dinosaur emerges, striking fear into everyone. Miraculously, it fails to spot them and eventually leaves the area, sparing their lives for the moment. Meanwhile, Kai emerges cautiously from the hollow tree trunk and realizes he has wandered into a massive cave. To his dismay, he finds a gigantic shed snakeskin and a clutch of eggs scattered across the floor. His unease deepens when he hears heavy footsteps and glimpses the shadow of an approaching creature. Acting quickly, he hides behind the eggs and soon discovers the intruder is a raptor. The predator begins feasting on the unborn creatures, tearing into the eggs. Kai tries to remain silent, but his watch alarm suddenly blares, exposing his hiding spot. With his heart racing, Kai bolts as the raptor chases him through the cave. Thinking on his feet, he crawls into the remains of a broken eggshell, effectively camouflaging himself among the python's offspring. The raptor prowls for a while but doesn't locate him. Just then, the giant python reappears, confronting the raptor and swiftly killing it. After devouring the predator, the python turns its attention to Kai, but, surprisingly, doesn't attack. Having absorbed the scent of the eggs, Kai is mistaken for one of the python's own. Mourning the loss of its clutch, the python allows Kai to slip away unnoticed. Taking advantage of the moment, Kai escapes the cave. Elsewhere, the surviving tourists are desperate to escape the island. Chen, the businessman and the theme park's director, informs the group about a signal tower atop a nearby mountain that they can use to call for help. However, Xiao is solely focused on finding her son. She pleads with the group for assistance, but no one volunteers. Determined, Xiao sets off on her own. At the last moment, Zhang, the bus driver, decides to accompany her. Grateful for his help, Xiao mentions that they can track Kai using the GPS on his smartwatch. As they move through the forest, they hear rustling in the bushes and brace themselves for a possible attack. To their relief, it's Professor Jia and his assistant Lei. After a brief celebration of their reunion, the group resumes their search for Kai. Meanwhile, Kai struggles through the dense woods, exhausted and alone. His situation worsens when his leg gets caught in the trap of a massive carnivorous plant. The plant opens its gaping maw and spits a deadly spike at him, narrowly missing his head. As it prepares to attack again, the giant python intervenes, shielding Kai from harm and killing the monstrous plant. Freed from the plant's grasp, Kai is astounded to realize the python has saved his life. The massive creature lowers itself and gestures toward a spike lodged in its body. Understanding its plea, Kai uses vines to fashion a makeshift tool to help the python remove the spike. With its wound tended to, the snake retreats into the forest. Elsewhere, Xiao, Zhang, Jia, and Lei reach the mountain peak, only to find the signal tower in ruins. Their despair deepens when a massive T-Rex appears and viciously attacks, killing several survivors with brutal efficiency. In the meantime, Kai stumbles upon a dinosaur feasting on the remains of a giant frog. Attempting to sneak away, he accidentally snaps a twig, drawing the dinosaur's attention. Before it can strike, Xiao appears and pulls Kai to safety, finally reuniting with her son. Their relief is short-lived as the dinosaur charges after them. Xiao and Kai lead it through a narrow passage, where the creature gets stuck, narrowly escaping its clutches. The mother-son duo quickly realizes their troubles are far from over as they encounter another dinosaur, which immediately starts chasing them. Their situation worsens when they are surrounded by two ferocious predators. However, the heroic python emerges once again, knocking the dinosaurs aside and shielding the humans from harm. Xiao and Kai use the opportunity to flee while the python fends off relentless attacks. Unfortunately, more dinosaurs appear, overwhelming the python in a brutal assault. In the next scene, Xiao and Kai reunite with the rest of the group, and they all make their way toward the mountain peak. Upon reaching it, they are devastated to see the area reduced to a desolate wasteland. Jia observes the skeletal remains of pythons and T-Rexes scattered across the terrain, speculating that the two species share a long-standing rivalry. As Kai wanders around, he is suddenly taken hostage by Chen, the only survivor from the other group. It's clear Chen has lost his sanity as he holds Kai at knife point and blames everyone for his predicament. Xiao pleads for her son's release, but their standoff is interrupted by a deafening roar. The T-Rex has returned. Seizing the distraction, Xiao manages to save Kai, and they flee as the T-Rex stomps on Chen, ending his madness. The group finds an abandoned car and Zhang takes the wheel to drive them away from the chaos. The T-Rex hurls boulders at the fleeing vehicle, but Zhang skillfully avoids them. The chase culminates when the dinosaur leaps at the car, causing it to crash into a rock, knocking everyone unconscious. When they regain consciousness, the T-Rex is closing in, ready to finish them off. But just in time, the giant python intervenes yet again. A fierce battle ensues, with the T-Rex gradually gaining the upper hand. Desperate to help, the group devises a plan to use nearby explosives. Xiao loads dynamite into the car and bravely drives it toward the T-Rex, leaping out at the last second. However, the detonator fails, leaving their plan in ruins. As hope dwindles, Lei notices gasoline leaking from the car and grabs a torch to ignite it. She rushes toward the battlefield but is struck by a flying boulder before she can act. With the python on the verge of defeat, young Kai decides to take matters into his own hands. Despite his injured leg, he sprints toward the monsters and with perfect aim, throws the torch at the car. The resulting explosion severely wounds the T-Rex, allowing the python to finally kill its rival. The blast throws Kai backward, leaving him unconscious. Xiao and the others rush to his side, frantically calling his name. Just when it seems all hope is lost, the python approaches and emits a thunderous roar, startling Kai awake. The movie concludes sometime later, with everyone safely back home. Kai's leg is fully healed and life seems to have returned to normal. Elsewhere, Professor Jia and Lei embark on a new expedition to the island, discovering even more dangerous creatures lurking beneath the surface. Subscribe for more thrilling content and don't forget to like and turn on notifications to support the channel. Thank you for watching.